The driver who cut you off is insured, yet their carrier just dangled a $15,000 check for your shattered shoulder and totaled bike. They're already blaming reckless riding, banking on the built-in bias every adjuster holds against New York motorcyclists. Take that money now and you'll be staring down six-figure medical bills and months of lost wages with zero recourse later. In the next few minutes, I'll show New York riders exactly how our no-fault exemption and pure comparative negligence laws let you claim every dollar you're owed, but only if you preserve the right evidence. Hi, I'm Brett Harrison, a New York personal injury lawyer. And if you've been injured in a motorcycle accident in New York, you're facing challenges that most car accident victims never encounter. I've been representing motorcycle accident victims for over 30 years, and I've seen the same patterns repeat over and over. The insurance company, they will try to minimize your claim, they'll point to motorcycle bias, and they'll use every trick in the book to pay you less than you deserve. But when you understand the law and know how to navigate the system, you can level that playing field. Now, let's understand, motorcycle accidents are different in New York. Motorcycle accidents aren't just car accidents with different vehicles. The injuries are typically more severe, the bias against riders is real, and the legal challenges are unique. In New York, we operate under a no-fault insurance system for most motor vehicle accidents. But motorcycles are specifically excluded from no-fault coverage under New York Insurance Law Section 5102. This exclusion means you can sue the at-fault driver directly for all your damages, including pain and suffering, without having to meet the serious injury threshold that car accident victims face. That's actually an advantage, but only if you know how to use it properly. The downside is that you don't get the immediate medical coverage and lost wage benefits that no-fault provides. You're relying on your own health insurance initially, and you need to build a strong case to recover everything you're owed from the responsible party. Now let's discuss proving fault when everyone assumes you're responsible. The biggest hurdle we face in motorcycle cases is overcoming bias. I've had adjusters tell me outright that they assume the motorcyclist was speeding or lane splitting, even when there's no evidence to support that assumption. We have to work twice as hard to establish the truth. The key is immediate evidence preservation. If you're physically able, or if someone can help you, document everything at the scene. Photos of vehicle positions, skid marks, traffic signals, road conditions, and your injuries are crucial. Get contact information from witnesses before they leave. But here's what most people don't realize. In New York, we follow a pure comparative negligence rule under CPLR 1411. Even if you were partially at fault, you can still recover damages, reduced, of course, by your percentage of fault. If you're 20% at fault and your damages total, let's say, $100,000, you'd recover $80,000. Insurance companies, they will try to convince you that any fault on your part completely eliminates your claim. That's simply not true in New York. I've recovered substantial settlements for clients who bore some responsibility for their accidents because I knew how to properly apportion fault and prove the other driver's greater negligence. Now let's discuss understanding the full scope of your damages. Motorcycle accident injuries are often catastrophic: road rash, broken bones, traumatic brain injuries, spinal cord damage. These aren't fender bender injuries. Your compensation should reflect the true impact on your life, not just your immediate medical bills. Medical expenses are just the starting point, but they're just the beginning. You're entitled to compensation for all past and future medical care related to your accident. This includes not just hospital bills and doctor visits, but physical therapy, occupational therapy, psychological counseling, prescription medications, and medical equipment. Lost wages extend beyond just the time you've already missed from work. If your injuries prevent you from returning to your previous job or limit your earning capacity, you can recover compensation for that future lost income. I worked with an economic expert on a case involving a construction worker who suffered a traumatic brain injury. We were able to prove that his cognitive limitations would prevent him from ever returning to his trade, and we recovered compensation for his entire lost career earnings. Pain and suffering damages in motorcycle cases can be substantial, especially in New York, where there's no cap on these awards. The key is documenting how your injuries have affected every aspect of your life. So I recommend keep a daily journal of your pain levels, activities you can no longer perform, and the emotional impact of your injuries. Now, let's discuss dealing with insurance company tactics. Insurance companies have specific strategies they use against motorcycle accident victims, and recognizing these tactics is half the battle. They'll often rush to offer a quick settlement while you're still recovering, hoping you'll accept less than your claim is worth because you need money for medical bills. They'll also try to blame you for not wearing proper protective gear, even when gear wouldn't have prevented your specific injuries. In New York, failure to wear a helmet can reduce your damages under comparative negligence rule, but only if the insurance company can prove that wearing a helmet would have prevented or reduced your specific head injuries. Of course, I would always recommend wearing the helmet. One tactic I see repeatedly is the insurance company demanding your entire medical history, claiming they needed to evaluate your claim. Don't provide years of unrelated medical records. They're fishing for pre-existing conditions they can blame for your current injuries. You're only required to provide records relevant to the body parts injured in the accident. Another common approach is requesting a recorded statement immediately after the accident. You are not legally required to give one, and you shouldn't. Anything you say will be analyzed for inconsistencies and used against you later. Let your attorney handle all communication with the insurance company. Now let's discuss when you need surgery, because this changes everything. If your injuries require surgery, your case value increases significantly. Surgery represents a clear, objective measure of injury severity that's harder for insurance companies to dispute. But timing matters tremendously. Don't settle your case before you've reached maximum medical improvement. I've seen too many riders accept settlements only to need additional surgeries months later. Once you settle, you can't come back for more money, even if your medical condition worsens. Document everything related to your surgical treatment, preoperative restrictions, the surgery itself, postoperative complications, physical therapy requirements, and any permanent limitations. Your surgeon's notes about your prognosis and future medical needs become crucial evidence in establishing the full value of your claim. Now let's discuss building a compelling case. The strongest motorcycle accident cases combine thorough documentation with expert testimony. Accident reconstruction experts can demonstrate exactly how the crash occurred and why the other driver was at fault. Medical experts explain the severity of your injuries and your future medical needs. Economic experts calculate your lost earning capacity. I always photograph the motorcycle and the other vehicle before they're repaired. The damage patterns tell a story about impact speeds and collision dynamics. I've won cases where the physical evidence contradicted the other driver's version of events. Traffic camera footage, if available, not always, can be game-changing evidence. But this footage is often overwritten quickly, so we need to act fast to preserve it. Cell phone records can also be crucial if we suspect the other driver was texting or talking while driving. Now, let's discuss maximizing your settlement or verdict. Insurance companies settle cases when they believe their trial exposure exceeds the settlement amount. Your attorney's reputation and track record matter enormously in these negotiations. If they know your lawyer will take the case to trial and has won significant verdicts before, they're more likely to offer fair settlements. In New York, we have the advantage of trial-friendly venues in some counties. For example, the Bronx and Manhattan juries, in particular, have a history of awarding substantial damages in serious injury cases. Insurance companies know this and factor it into their settlement evaluations. The timing of a settlement negotiations is also strategic. Filing suit and conducting discovery often uncovers additional evidence that strengthens your position. Insurance companies also face mounting legal costs and the uncertainty of trial outcomes as the case progresses. The importance of choosing the right attorney. Not all personal injury attorneys understand the unique challenges of motorcycle accident cases. Look for lawyers who regularly handle motorcycle accidents, understand the bias issues we face, and have experience with the severe injuries common in these cases. Your attorney should have relationships with the right experts, accident reconstructionists who understand motorcycle dynamics, medical experts who treat motorcycle injuries, and economic experts who can properly calculate future losses. These professional relationships often make the difference between a good outcome and a great one. The goal here is that you move forward with confidence. If you've been injured in a motorcycle accident in New York, remember that you have rights and options. The insurance company's first offer is rarely their best offer, and you don't have to accept their version of events with their evaluations of your claim. Focus on your recovery while your legal team handles the fight with the insurance company. Follow your doctor's treatment recommendations, attend all appointments, and document how your injuries have affected your daily life. The stronger your medical case, the stronger your legal case becomes. Today, we've covered the fundamental strategies for maximizing your motorcycle accident compensation in New York. You now understand why these cases require different approaches, how to overcome bias, what damages you can recover, and how to deal with insurance company tactics. But there's one type of injury that insurance companies consistently undervalue, even in motorcycle accidents, and it's costs those injured hundreds of thousands of dollars in compensation they rightfully deserve. Knee injuries. They create lifelong complications that most people, including many attorneys, don't fully understand. In my next video, Why Knee Injuries Deserve Maximum Compensation in New York, I'll reveal exactly why these injuries are so much more serious than they appear, and the specific medical evidence you need to prove their true impact on your life. This information could literally be the difference between a minimal settlement and full compensation for your injuries that will affect you for decades. See you over there.